Welcome back. Well, for the markets, we're just about consolidating at this point in time. In any case, I just want to point out that, there's one particular company we're going to be talking to, that's Jupiter Lifeline Hospitals. And we are talking to them about the Union Cabinet approving to cover senior citizens 70 years and above under Ayushman Bharat scheme. A few key highlights include that all senior citizens will now get around 5 lakh free in terms of health insurance under Ayushman Bharat. To assess the impact of this development on the hospital sector, we have with us Ankit Thakker, who's the CEO of Jupiter Lifeline Hospitals, to talk about this as well as the business. Ankit, hi, welcome to the show. Well, I was just noticing it's been a year since you, I think, listed. You listed last year, September of 2023. And we're talking to you today about what has been a development in the Ayushman Bharat scheme, 70 years and plus will now be able to access and get insurance worth around 5 lakh rupees. How does it impact Jupiter? Are you empaneled?
So I think to begin with, it's a fantastic decision by the government. I think I'm very, very happy that this decision has been taken because it reflects on the kind of society we are and we aspire to be. A lot of senior citizens today are deprived of healthcare for financial reasons. They are unable to buy insurance policies at this age, and as a result of which they do not have access to good quality care. So this decision to cover everybody above 70, I think, is very welcome, and it's great for the country and the society. As far as Jupiter is concerned, no, currently we are not empaneled, and we haven't even seen the fine print of the regulations, etc. As they come up, we will evaluate them and see how they shape up.
So, but why are you not empaneled, Ankit, till now? Even for maybe a couple of specialities, why haven't you been empaneled till date?
So we have a few government schemes, but they account for just around 1% of our revenues and business. We have, most of our business coming from the insured segment, little bit out-of-pocket pay. And I think in the long term, what the government has said multiple times and now acted upon with this is that this really gives a fillip to cashless healthcare for all as a target. For above 70, it's Ayushman Bharat, where the government is a payer and the beneficiary is a common citizen above 70. But once a positive experience of this sort is felt by the community, I think it will even give a huge boost to insurance coverage for the under 70 population, which today just stands around 10% coverage on health insurance. So I think there's a huge potential there.
So you're not empaneled and government services account for about 1% of your revenue. But, just generally, government or no government, what proportion of your patients who are, treated at the Jupiter Lifeline hospitals are above 70? And what are the typical revenues that you make from them, average revenue per occupied bed?
So, honestly, we don't really segment revenue in that way. So I don't have that answer ready with me today. But if you look at, the demography of the country, that would probably, it is just my guess, would reflect on our volumes as well, where it is a relatively young country where, 65% of the population is below 40. So above 70, I think could be, much higher than low single digits.
Okay. Well, Ankit, I just wanted to get a sense that what is the difference in terms of the average revenue per occupied bed for those that you are treating within government schemes and those that you are probably treated under Ayushman Bharat that you know of, and versus those who aren't?
So there would be a difference for sure. We only provide radiation therapy for cancer currently and some surgeries for children born with congenital heart defects. So we have a very limited exposure there and experience there. So I'm not really clued into what the ARPOBs of the entire Ayushman Bharat scheme would be, but safe to assume significantly lower than private payers.
But how much? Like, is it a 10 to 15% difference in terms of ARPOBs? Is it maybe a 20% difference? The reason I'm asking is that, you know, the Supreme Court at one end is probably considering a standardization, or, you know, that's something which is on the cards in terms of standardization of rates being possibly a consideration. In that sense, how much do you think a company such as yours, which only gets 1% from government mandated schemes, will probably have to adjust their ARPOBs to adjust to these new standardized rates, or maybe, you know, adjust to greater amount of money coming in from government schemes?
So I think India is a country of inclusions, right? Everything goes. I am a fan of filter coffee on the streets of Matunga, and I also happen to frequent Starbucks. So both the things coexist very close to each other. That is India. So even in healthcare, I don't think that there is only going to be a one-size-fits-all approach in a country of this size and this diversity and this demography. You get what you pay for, you get what you want, and all segments will coexist. So in my assessment, I don't think it is going to really make huge differences on business models.
Right, that point is well made, that, all things, all services exist at all different price points. The only risk is if Starbucks, by virtue of regulation, is asked to sell at the same price as a filter coffee. But that's a discussion for another day, another time. Thank you so much for joining in and giving us your outlook on the business itself.
Well, before, we just wrap up the conversation, just wanted to point out that I mentioned that it listed a year ago. And just look at the kind of stock performance that you've seen for Jupiter. It listed, its issue price was around 765 odd rupees. And look at the price today, it's 1361. So it's around 735. So it's an over 80% increase that you've seen in a hospital which is catering to the micro markets, which is probably the next leg of growth when it comes to hospitals. And you can see that reflect in the stock price at this point.
Well, we take that point. Nearly doubling from its issue price. Take a short break. In fact, on the other side, we'll focus on Thermax in our special segment, as always, Insight Edge.